Good afternoon, everyone. It is your boy Shad Talks Graps, and I have some breaking news. I have hit the transfer portal. The man that would host Tuesdays reviewing Monday Night Raw is now the host for Saturdays reviewing Friday Night SmackDown. It is a crazy time. I got into the transfer portal. I got drafted by, I guess, Ben Allison would be the GM for SmackDown. Maybe Clark's the GM for Raw. But it is what it is. We are here today. It's Saturday, and I'm excited, man. We are on the road to WrestleMania, and I don't got Jordy and Chaos no more, but I got a pretty damn good panel, and I actually got two people that I have worked extensively with on consecutive shows. First and foremost, if y'all don't know about the OG Throwback Thursday crew, then I don't know what's wrong with you. Are you really a Wrestling Republic fan? Anthony, out in Philly,
Yeah,
what's going on, bro?
I'm doing all right. We're on the road to Mania, and it is a awesome time to be a fan every Mania season. As much as people complain and this and that, it's Mania season. Enjoy it. It's going to be a fun ride. Good, bad, and different. It's fun to talk about, but you know, let's get into it.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And I mean, I am one that has been a little critical, but I'm obviously excited for it, especially the topics that we have on today's show. Last, but very not least, this is another person that I will be recording with later on today as we have our Sunday spotlight. You know, the head of the table, or the spotlight table, as I like to say, the first lady of Wrestling Republic. You know, she might curse me out on the show today, maybe the other one
Oh
after.
Lord.
Megan, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here with you. Anthony, Anthony is like a ride or die as well. He be rooting for me and having my back in the company chat and stuff. But as you can see, I am paying tribute to Miss Naomi because she had killed her promo yesterday, and I am team Naomi in this situation. So I'm ready to talk about it.
And we are going to talk about that because that was my favorite part. Arguably, that in the main event segment, the contract signing, were my favorite parts of last night. But let's start with what started the show. Um, we are on this international tour. Cody Rhodes comes out, cuts a promo, and he is followed by a familiar friend, potential rival in Randy Orton. Randy Orton cutting the promo, giving Cody his flowers, but also letting him know that after he's done with Cena, that he's going for that title. He is then interrupted by a Drew McIntyre, which led to a match last night and solid bout. The highlight of it is this: Drew McIntyre does get a win over Randy Orton. Drew McIntyre is a guy who is very like it's like a teeter totter of who he wins and who he loses to. But this is a big time win, but it does come in the expense of an interference distraction by Kevin Owens. We are continuing the KO and Randy Orton feud in the Mania. And later on to the show, I can't forget this. We had a backstage segment between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest where I don't know. I heard it was some real glass that when he was smashed on the car with Drew getting attacked by Priest. But the key part of this is, in my opinion, is these Mania matches as we were progressing, right? And I'm gonna be completely honest with you. With all the big time matches that we do have on the card, I think both of these individual matches have had pretty good builds to it. I think Orton and KO has been a really good match. I think these guys, if y'all haven't seen Orton's 45-second little promo on the WWE website, YouTube page, watch it. He's selling you a ticket. And then you got Drew and Priest, which is, two guys who are former world champions, got history. I'm a little invested in both of them, but I'm interested to see what y'all got to say. Anthony, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on everything that transpired yesterday between Drew and Priest, as well as Orton and KO?
Yeah, I do have to say it was very cool to see the Orton Cody segment because we know in real life there is that big brother little brother dynamic. Cody was brought in as part of Legacy, Orton's stable, so you could tell that Orton is genuinely proud of his little brother. What he's achieved in this past year, and gambling on himself when he left the company, when they didn't see in him what he saw in himself. So I thought that was very cool. The Drew Orton dynamic, obviously they have history. They both came into the company, were deemed the chosen ones by the powers that be at the time, and both of them have really blossomed into incredible performers. Orton has reached a stage where he can take a loss, and it doesn't mean it. It doesn't mean anything to him, but it elevates whoever he loses to for the most part. And it wasn't clean anyway because of Kevin Owens. And the Kevin Owens Orton dynamic, in a lot of ways, is similar to the Cody Orton dynamic in Big Brother Little Brother, behind the scenes. So I'm very much looking forward to that. The Damian Priest Drew scenario, they do have history. I was there last year at WrestleMania 40. Drew winning the championship and having it taken away like that when the cash in. You can say they had a feud afterwards. That's all well and good. But at the root of it, you stole my Mania moment. I don't care how many times you fight him. There's going to be that history there. The windshield getting smashed and that little nugget of Drew going, I got glass in my eye, and Punk is walking by, because we all know that little tongue-in-cheek history with Punk and windshields. So I think it was very cool. And there are two matches that are going to deliver at Mania. They have all the potential to deliver at Mania. KO and Orton are going to do what they do best. They're purposely keeping Orton away from hitting the punt on KO because they want to do it at Mania, which I completely understand. And Drew and Damian, it's two hard hitters. It's going to deliver. It's going to be a slugfest. So for me, I'm looking forward to all of this. I thought they continued to build towards those matches, and I was completely fine with it.
And I totally agree with you on that. The reason I'm really excited for these matches too is for the two guys that don't get enough credit, in my opinion, and that is Kevin Owens and that is Damian Priest.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in ways they are unsung heroes in WWE. They play the role of having opportunities to be at the top at points, but they're so good at making their counterparts look good in the process. Dude, Damian Priest gave Bad Bunny a damn near 5-star match. A Grammy-selling international music phenomenon. Like,
they are two guys that can elevate whoever they're in the ring with, and they don't need the titles to be over. Like, that's a rare breed in this business, because a lot of people need titles, but you look at somebody like Piper, you look at somebody like Jake the Snake, Scott Hall. You really didn't need a title, but they knew how to make somebody look really good. Sean Waltman's another perfect example, before I forget.
Yeah, no, for sure. Those are all great calls. I mean, Razor is probably like the one that you hit right on the dot there. Like, the fact that guy was as over as he was, a big of a star, but never being a world champ. Like, making like the mid-card title seem like it was the main title in ways too.
Yes.
That type of stuff ain't easy. We have a boatload of comments that I do want to get through. First and foremost, got some love for Megan over here. MDB. What's going on, bro? You can't say hi to me? You a coward for that. I'm just messing around. What's good, bro? DC Warlord saying that McIntyre got real glass in his eye. Yes, that was funny, man. You know what? I spoke about it like really passionately on Tuesday in regards to the just both companies taking little like jabs and stuff. It's harmless.
It's all good fun. It's a rivalry. It works. It's fine.
Yeah, it's all
it's not
good
personal.
fun. I make beats saying, yo, happy weekends, Wrestling Republic folks. What's going on, bro? He also notes that Priest was great in that backstage segment. Highly agree. This is an interesting comment from MDB. He says, we're literally getting all types of money matches at WrestleMania 41, and people have the nerve to call the build-up to the show terrible. That is going to be an ongoing topic of discussion on here as the weeks come. Me personally, I don't think it's been as good as last year's build, and I've been on the record saying it, and I've gotten some heat for it. I think international crowds has slowed the building process, and that's more so not a fault on anything really. It's just you got lesser heads, and then you also book a show to the international crowd to give them a spectacle in a way.
I think, and I know Megan has to go, but I do want to touch on the one thing you mentioned. I do think when they do the international shows, especially the SmackDowns, us in the States can't watch it. It's not on Netflix. So for us, it's like a tape show. Everything gets spoiled for us because everything gets posted online. So there's a portion of the audience that goes, I don't need to watch this. I just read the results. I think that does impact it in some way.
Yeah, especially for SmackDown, because I guess for Netflix, I mean, you can watch it live at an earlier time. For working people like us,
Yeah,
it ain't easy to watch a wrestling show in the afternoon.
no,
But it is what it is. Megan, I gotta ask you in regards to all the segments that happened yesterday. What are your thoughts with the build of the Orton and KO feud as well as Drew and Priest?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I was one of the first people that definitely felt like the Drew and Damian Priest build-up just wasn't. It was boring to me. Yesterday, it piqued my interest. Now, I do have to make a remark about the Real Glass because that's what I call Jack Perry. That's his new name. That's what I address him as Real Glass. And of course, with them being in London, and that's when that situation occurred, it will only make sense for them to kind of poke fun at AEW just a little bit. Like Anthony said, it's all in good jest. Pretty sure by Wednesday, there'd be a shot thrown back at WWE, all in good fun. The promo that Randy cut, that was a digital exclusive, loved it. I loved it. He ended it with saying that Kevin Owens' ass belongs to him, and I believed every minute of it. He said he was going to kick his head out of the building. I believe that too. He even called Kevin Owens Kevin Howens. I listened to it multiple times. That's what he said. And I believed it. And I've always said that when Randy get his hands on Kevin, he going to rule the day he was born. And that promo told me exactly what I needed to know with whatever plans that Randy has for him. Now, it was an interesting thing. I believe it was on the daily, if it was last week, but I was on the daily with someone and we had, was it you, Anthony? It may have been you, or maybe it was Ignacio. I don't know. But I do know that there was a segment in the show where they was talking about whether or not they were going to ban the pile driver and the punt leading up to the match. And Randy had made reference to that during the promo. So, I think they be listening, y'all. I think they be listening to us just a little bit. But back to the Drew and Damian Priest. Yeah, yesterday definitely made me excited for their match. I was already anticipating the Randy and Kevin match, but after yesterday, I'm definitely looking forward to the Drew and Damian match as well.
And I agree with the correlation that you just had right there though, with it being in the UK as well, that flew right over my head. And that's pretty smart on Punk's behalf. I can't lie.
And just a little nod and stuff. And also, I want to give a little shout out to the friend of the show, Ethan Allen of Progress Wrestling, who was one of the security guards yesterday as well. Me and Shad, we did an interview with him some months ago, and I did bring up his thoughts about WWE ID, and he said he would definitely be excited if the opportunity was presented to him. And instead, he was security for yesterday's show. So shout out to Ethan Allen as well.
Oh yeah, no, you're definitely right. That I peeped that as well, and I was like, oh, it's like that's bro that we talked to.
Yes,
great guy. Shout outs to him, by the way. We had such a good interview me and Megan had with him, and yo, don't be surprised if you see him in the WWE at some point.
Absolutely.
The talent that young kid has is going to be great, and I'm glad that he got an opportunity to get to touch the WWE. Hey man, we done seen a lot of these people. MJF, he was a security guard in the historic where Samoa Joe pushed him, and then him and Joe, full circle moment, having matches at AEW against each other. Like
Keith Lee, security guard too.
Ricky Starks / Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we remember him.
LA Knight, I believe.
Yes. So you got to start from somewhere, But once you can put that on your resume, I don't think they will forget you. I do think that at some point, your name will be picked from the hat. So, if this is just the beginning for him, we got that interview. So, you can add that to our resume as well.
For sure. Nah, I love it, man. And if he makes it big on WWE, just remember the views on that interview better go up. Let's get to the next topic because my favorite tag team in the WWE are the tag team champions. Yes, that is the Street Profits. What happened to the graphic right there? Okay, we're going to the second topic. There is a missing part for that one. That ain't on me. I don't do the graphics over here. But nonetheless, Street Profits versus Pretty Deadly, the hometown team, had a match, title defense. Profits, they come out victorious once again. This seems like a revolving door of these tag teams in the division, but I like that we are back with Montez and Angelo as champions. And I thought this was a cool, solid match. I got to ask you, Anthony, did you like it? Anything that you had a gripe with on it? What's up?
I do have to say, because I wasn't on last Saturday's show, I really do like the Street Profits' new music. I think that works with the darker characters that they're playing. I love what they're doing with the tag division as a whole on SmackDown, because I feel like that may be the most solid tag division going in wrestling, because it actually has multiple teams and it seems competitive. I understand why they did Pretty Deadly in London. I would not have been shocked if they would have had a quick title change, because I still think I can't imagine they won't do some type of, I don't know, 4-way tag title match at Mania, or maybe a ladder match or something, or even the SmackDown before Mania. I can't imagine, because the way they're intertwining all these teams, I can't imagine you're not doing something with that, and not just they're feuding with this one this week. It's got to be leading to something, is my thoughts on it. I think the Profits are a good choice with that. I would definitely have them retain in a big spotlight match, whether it's Mania, whether it's SmackDown before Mania, or even the SmackDown of Mania week, after it, because we do know that Mysterious number 4, which I think a lot of us think we know who that is rumored to be debuting on that SmackDown. So I think the sky's the limit for this type of stuff with the Profits, because it seems like Hunter is putting emphasis on the tag division, at least on SmackDown.
For sure. And you know what? It's crazy that they are winning the belts back after 4 years. Like that stat alone kind of like is mind-boggling to me. It feels
you didn't
like
realize how quick that went.
Yeah. And I feel like once we get past Mania, if we do shuffle around the deck on both brands with the tag teams, it could be beneficial. A team like the Motor City Machine Guns could benefit going to Monday Night Raw, going against the teams over there, like the War Raiders, the New Day.
I did find it interesting, and this was a side thing because we're speaking on this about tag teams. I did find it interesting that Joe referenced during the Phoenix advertisement, they did acknowledge that it's Penta's brother, which I wasn't sure if they were going to do that right away since they were putting him on the separate show. So I thought that was very interesting that they did that, because at some point we're going to see the Lucha Brothers as a team, but I'm completely cool with them doing them as singles wrestlers at the start. But I thought that was interesting that Joe actually acknowledged it, because they, up to that point, they really weren't.
Yeah, no, for sure. And obviously that's going to be exciting. I'm excited when we get to break that down next week, because I'm a big Ray Phoenix fan, big Lucha Brothers fan in general. So like that's going to be cool to see him. And I think it is smart having them separated at the moment. Penta is kind of doing some big stuff in the singles division right now. So it should be interesting. But what is interesting, and I have to go on a little bit of a tangent, a little bit of advert, because we're going away from WWE for a quick second, and we're going across the pond. And we spoke about Luke Jacobs. We got to talk about the good friends at Progress Wrestling. If you use the code WatchProgress1, you get half off your first month on demand. Progress Plus. This is the home of Progress, Defy, and much more. But wait, I am not done with the advert, because they have a big time card happening tomorrow. Remember to set your alarms, those in the UK. The clocks go forward tomorrow, and you can catch Chapter 178 live on Demand Progress or Triller TV this Sunday. Couple matches on the card that I want to tell you all about. We got the main event, the Smoking Aces versus the Sunshine Machine. I got the Sunshine Machine winning that match. My boy Chuck Mambo, salute to you, bro. I got them winning that. We got Simon Miller, the champion, going against Gene Money. I'm going to go with Simon Miller, who is the champ. Another big-time match. Trent Seven making his return, going against Cara Noir. I'm going with Trent Seven. We got a match with the ladies, man. A friend of Wrestling Republic, a friend of Sunday Spotlight, a friend of Megan. Nina Samuels goes against Millie McKenzie. I would be a fool picking against Nina in that match. We got Eddie Dennis versus Tate Mayfairs. I'm going to go with Eddie Dennis on that one. We got the Lycos Jim versus Nico and Mills. I'm going with the Lycos. And which should be potential match of the night, Michael Oku versus Miles Kamen. I'm going to have to go with Michael Oku. And then we also got the homie Crowley versus Martha. I'm going with Martha because I really like her hair, her hat in the picture. I don't really know much about those two. I apologize. It's nothing against y'all, but that's a pretty stacked card. Y'all go ahead and tune into it, support them, and continue to support us. Let's get into this next topic, because Megan, we're going to talk about this on Sunday Spotlight a little bit, but we got to talk about what's going on in the women's division of SmackDown. Ooh. The topic is Charlotte versus Michin. That's fine. Charlotte came out with a win, but Charlotte came out with a win against a wounded bird that was Michin, because the best women's heel in the WWE at the moment is someone that we probably, if you would have told us this a couple years ago, I don't know if you would agree with it. Naomi coming out and attacking, beating down Michin, making a statement, and more importantly, having one of the best promo vignettes last night. She told us to prepare with caution. I want to know, break this down. What are your thoughts on everything that's going on with the ladies in SmackDown right now?
You know, before I get into Miss Naomi, I do have to briefly touch on a family member because it's not on the graphics, but it was a big nugget dropped yesterday, and it would be irresponsible for me not to mention it. Jacob kind of insinuated that he's about to cut Solo off. That was a very, very, very big nugget yesterday. And he made it clear he's going to do it with Tama, and he's not going to do it with Solo. So keep an eye out on that, because that was a very open threat that Solo put out there. But talking about his cousin, Miss Naomi, Naomi, she's not with it either. It seems like the family is on the same accord when it comes down to making a name for themselves, a presentation. It's up against them. And her segment yesterday was exactly what I knew she could do, because I think when you come from a family like the Fatus and the Anois, you have the potential to be a great heel. And she showed that. Now, I think what really touched down the whole potential of Naomi being one of the best female heels in a long time is the fact that it's coming from hurt. It's not coming from her feeling as though she's not being, it's not coming out of not having titles. It's not coming out of, that type of jealousy. It's coming from what she feels is betrayal. She feels like she was there for Bianca. She feels like she rooted for Bianca. She had her back. And when Jade came, she chose Jade, which, it would look that way. It would look that way. But, as a woman, it happens. We get in our feelings and we don't see things all too clearly. But at the same time, a bad friend can be a bad friend. And Naomi feels that Bianca wasn't necessarily a good friend to her. Now, leading up to that, after the promo, Jade came out and she told Nick she'd been looking for Naomi. She'd been looking high and low for her, under the bleachers, under the cars. She'd been looking for her. She can't find her. She came across Michin and B-Fab, and as much as I love B-Fab, she put 20 on 10. She was doing too much talking. She was out of line, so to speak. And what she didn't realize was that Naomi was looking. Naomi was in the cut. She was in the bushes. She was watching. And when they came out, Naomi did what she had to do. She put the pause on her. She made her choice. And that was to ultimately, show them who's boss. So she didn't really leave much for Michin. She didn't really leave much of Michin for Charlotte. But I do also want to mention the little nugget that they dropped of Charlotte and Jade kind of, sizing each other up. Now, what I didn't realize was that yesterday or today is Jade's 1-year anniversary on SmackDown. So that cut between her and Charlotte comes a little more than a year later from when they had first sized each other up. So it seems as though that is going to come in the future. Like at some time we are going to get Charlotte and Jade. Now, will Charlotte be a champion when this happens? I would like to think so. But once again, for the second week in a row, Tiffany's promo fell short. So I really don't have much to add when it comes down to Tiffany. I mean, she's the champion. She is the top, B on the show, and everybody else is hotter than her. It's kind of like what Charlotte said. So, in the great words of CM Punk, tell me when I'm telling lies. Charlotte was not lying. And good luck to Tiffany at WrestleMania.
Whoa.
Good luck to Tiffany at WrestleMania.
Whoa.
She had a whole week. She had a week.
Shot. And Truther is not gonna say that she had a bad promo last night.
She did.
But she did.
It was not
bad last night. Y'all
the one last week was.
It was forgettable.
Last week was bad for sure. I'm on record
this week
saying
is
that.
Forgettable, and it's worse. You're the champion. You can't afford to cut
You're
no
supposed to
bad
be memorable.
promos.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You're having your first WrestleMania match in a couple of weeks as champion. You're not
You're
coming
the
as a
underdog,
challenger.
despite
You're the
the fact you're the
champion.
champion.
And she
that's
stood there next to Jackie, and Jackie even had to remind her, yeah, girl, that was terrible. Charlotte chewed you up last week. And she couldn't do anything about it. She just had to, yeah, that's true. And
I mean, it's bound. I don't disagree. I thought last week was a bad showing from her. I think honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not invested for this match. It doesn't move me at all. This is
because
probably,
it's predictable who's winning.
No,
That's why.
it's predictable, but like I'm gonna be real with y'all, man. Like I'm one of those people who just don't really like. Charlotte is a sensational Hall of Fame talent. I don't like. I'm not a big fan of her at all. To be real with you, like maybe it's historically it may be that. Maybe it's because I'm a Becky Lynch guy. Maybe it's because I'm a Mercedes guy. But like Charlotte don't move me that much. But I do think it is a bit of a. I would be a liar if I would say it is a sink or swim situation for Tiffany going against someone like that at a Mania, being the most renowned, like one of the most renowned women's wrestlers, being a potential Mount Rushmore wrestler and whatnot. It doesn't look good for her, but that's on WWE. You got to also, in ways, like if you knew she wasn't ready for this type of match, you don't throw her in that type of match. A good coach doesn't. Vic Fangio didn't play Cooper DeJean till week 8 because he didn't know the playbook and wasn't ready for it, right? A rookie is a rookie at the end of the day. And that's legitimately on booking. Like you don't throw people into the wolves. Like thing is this. A title match is a title match. A title match at WrestleMania as champion, that's a lot. That is a lot to do and go for. And like you look at the other side on Raw, all three of those women have climbed that mountain before. Io has climbed that mountain. She's went into last Mania as champ. She's been a renowned NXT champion. Bianca has had one of the greatest WrestleMania matches and moments of all time, beating Sasha Banks. Rhea Ripley is probably the baddest girl on the block right now in WWE Pro Wrestling. So, I mean, you got to make sure people are ready for it at the end of the day. And I just think the character work for like she's not a baby face, bro. Like she's a heel. Like that's why I like her.
She's not a baby face, but you know what? You know who is currently not a baby face and would eat the hell out of this if it was her? Roxanne. Roxanne would do 10 times better than Tiffany right now if she was the champion because she did it with Bailey. She did it with Becky.
Roxanne objectively is better than Tiffany. Roxanne is objectively better than a lot of women, though, too.
But you know, I feel like this, and I'm gonna just make this a really quick point. I don't feel like they will throw her in something unless they ask her what it is that you want. What do you want? Do you want this moment? Because this is a moment not everybody gets. Do you want this? And I'm 100% sure she said yes. Now, the first time she fumbled, you know, when you first take the train, like I said, when you take the training wheels off the bike, yes, you're going to fall. You get back up on that damn bike and you keep going until you stop falling. But how many weeks do we have left for Tiffany to keep falling off that bike?
Here's the thing, and this is the quick thing I'm going to say with this. In this situation, there was no lose for WWE in this situation because against Charlotte, everyone already views that as Charlotte's going to beat her. So Tiffany losing and Tiffany looking bad wouldn't necessarily be a shocker compared to Charlotte. But it's a sink or swim moment. She, in the fans' eyes, because of how bad she's doing with this, don't look at booking. Look at her as a talent. They can't perform for her. She's not performing when she needs to.
That's just off of the promo exchange within her. In every other aspect, she does deliver, though. Like, in-ring wise, she's a very good... And the match will probably be really good. Like, and all of this will be silence within that. But say Charlotte does win. My thing is this. What happened? What then? What then? What the hell do we do with her as champion again? Is she going to put people over in the situation? Is
You
she going to
do.
make people invested into
What
it?
I say is you continue to build Charlotte as the biggest heel, and you continue to build Tiffany as the biggest face, and you have them two face
MDB,
each other
you're just being a
again.
hater now, also, bro. You're just being a damn hater, bro. Like, just hop off the hate train for a second, bro.
Like that's what you do. You continue to build her as what she is, and you continue to build Tiffany as what she is, and you have them to face each other again. And this time,
Tiffany gets
Tiffany gets the win, and it will be even grander.
Yes.
You know,
it's assuming Tiffany gets to that level. Like she's got to elevate her game after
losing. 5 years old.
I
the ring is fine, but she needs to be able to cut a promo. If you can't cut a promo, then no one cares.
Bro, she just I believe a wrestler a few years ago. Though.
Yeah,
like,
I do believe that
this isn't Austin.
You're in the main event.
The fans actually like her too. Like she's over. Like it's not like it's Austin Theory where it's a person that's a lifeless character that they're trying to push. This is a woman with a character. It's trials and tribulations. This isn't the end of Tiffany Stratton. She's not getting a 90-day, whatever the hell they do, the future endeavor pink slip after that.
But I've seen Tiffany's promos on NXT. She is phenomenal as a heel. Her issue is being
she can't be a face.
So I can't say that she can't cut a promo because she can.
Yeah.
It's just she's not comfortable in the character that she is currently portraying. Now, if she was a heel as champion, she would be flourishing. She would be. But, when you're in that company, at some point, you got to be both. You got to be both. You got to be the good guy. You got to be the bad guy. Right now.
Or it could be a situation in pro wrestling where we can accept that just because the fans cheer for a heel, they can stay heel. Like the whole narrative that if you get cheered, now you're a babyface.
That's why MJF should have never went face. He should have stayed the heel the entire time, which I said back then.
I mean, even with someone like Swerve too, like Swerve, everyone liked him a lot because he was a heel. Roman Reigns is probably the best example of it all. Tribal Chief, we loved him because he is a heel, right? People throwing him ones up regardless. But nonetheless, let's get to the main event, and then we're gonna go overtime because we went. Because I had to defend Tiffy Tom. So I acknowledge you. Man, let's talk about Roman Reigns. Let's talk about CM Punk. Let's talk about Seth freaking Rollins. We had a contract signing last night in a big time match, which is now officially the main event for night one at WrestleMania. If you didn't know, now you know. This is what Punk wanted. Punk was emotional. Roman was kikiing about it. Seth was really angry about it, was not digging it at all, saying that this man doesn't deserve this. And we presumably thought this was the favor that Paul Heyman says that is on, the table that for the War Games match. Right before the end of it, Phil says, nah, this isn't the favor. There is actually another favor, leaving us with one of the bigger cliffhangers on the road to WrestleMania and probably storyline-wise in a little while in the WWE. Look, man, I'm invested. I think that Punk is rightfully so due for this. He has legitimately told the story about wanting to main event WrestleMania for the longest time. The triangle, everything connects with these guys. All of these guys have objectively a solid reason why they hate each other. And the biggest outlier of them all, Mr. Paul Heyman. I am super interested to see what goes on and what the hell this favor is actually. Man, I'm excited to hear what y'all got to say about it. Like I said, we're going overtime. Ben, don't yell at me. Megan, I'm going to start with you. What are your thoughts on that main event segment last night? And, man, what do you think this favor is also?
I have to say what I loved the most about that segment is just for those couple of seconds or minutes, you saw 3 different men experiencing 3 different emotions. Like Roman was feeling himself. Roman felt like I've done multiple main events at WrestleMania. I'm giving this to you. You're welcome. You know, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have it. Seth is, you know, he's in the corner like, look, I've had main events at WrestleMania too. In fact, we don't need them. We had so many of them. We don't need them. Like, let's not give this man what he doesn't deserve, you know? And the fact that they allowed Paul to be the one to tell Punk, and it seems so. I'm just almost certain, just like the Randy and Cody promo earlier that night, I don't think Punk knew what was going to happen. So I'm sure that the emotions was authentic in that moment. Even though, you know, he's a fairly good actor, but I still think it was very authentic. What is the favor? I don't know. Apparently, Punk has something in mind that he really wants from Paul. And honestly, I think he wants him. I think he wants Paul. I think maybe at some point, Roman and Punk is going to have to fight for the honor of the wise man. And, you know, if that's the case, then I don't know if Roman is going to openly do it at first. He's going to reject him. But, you know, I feel like once Punk starts poking that bear and kind of having Roman question himself, he's going to agree. And ultimately, I think Punk and Paul is going to reunite. As in for the match, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not picking any winners. I love all men equally. So I am not going to choose a winner in this match. Whoever wins, wins. I'll be happy regardless. Not going to get me on record choosing anybody for this match.
So we're going to get Megan specifically on the prediction show for WrestleMania Night 1 so we can get a prediction so she has to pick.
You're going to get a dash. You're going to get an asterisk.
And then
That's
look,
what you're
man, the Paul being the favor could very well be it in a sense, and I think that's a good point because Punk might just be like, Paul, bro, what are you doing? You letting this man kind of like disrespect you in a way, or who even knows, man? Paul could align with Seth. Like, there's a lot of different directions that
people keep saying that. People keep saying that, and it's like,
I would love it.
Can he? I wouldn't be against it. That would be like the biggest gag out of that match is Paul and Seth walking out of WrestleMania together.
Crazier things have happened with Seth at Mania. I mean, this is the guy who pulled the heist of the century. I mean, it's not. It would be a bit of a reward for him in a sense too, because I feel like he needs a defying moment for all that he's done as well. And I mean, you look at it like this: Roman he is Mr. Mania, damn near with what he's done for the last some odd years. Punk, this is the pivotal moment, his first Mania being able to main event. Seth has kind of been like the dance partner, giving people their moments, especially last year. So, speaking especially last year, obviously, Anthony, you was there last year, but I want to know, what are your thoughts in regards to this closing segment? And do you have an idea what you think the favor might be?
Yeah. When you look at WrestleMania, the sign that everyone points at the end of the day, anybody that's in the wrestling business, no matter what they say, they want a WrestleMania moment. I think there's very few of them that actually don't. And I think anyone that says that they don't, 99% of them know they're just never going to get there. And they don't want to admit it. Punk left this company 11 years ago. No one thought he'd be back. You know, as much as he said, my career's done, I'm fine with it as it is. If that's how it ended, deep down, he still wanted that Mania moment. He wanted that main event of WrestleMania. What we saw last night was genuine. Paul Heyman's been like a father figure to Punk. He's the one that wanted Punk on ECW. He is the one. And behind the scenes, he's always been the guy with Punk. Always has been the advisor and the mentor. So for him to have the moment, whether Punk knew it before he went out there or he didn't, that moment between Paul and Punk, that was not a moment between CM Punk, the character, and Paul Heyman, the character. That was a moment between Paul Heyman, the person, and Phil Brooks. That was real. That was genuine. And that's what connects to the audience. What connects to the audience with Punk is the fact that he is the outsider. He isn't the chosen one. He was the guy that was never supposed to be there. And yet he's able to do it. It's why 10 years ago, or no, 11 years ago now, Daniel Bryan, he wasn't the chosen one. The fans chose him. And that's why it's so iconic. Now, the Punk, Roman, Seth, I'm fully on board with this. This is 3 of the biggest names you can get. They have intertwining history. Punk was on his historic championship reign of 434 days. They brought in the Shield to protect Punk during that reign. There's history there. There's history with Seth betraying Roman. There's so much history with this, real life or not, hatred of Punk when he left from Roman and Seth. Those blurring of the lines, there's so much history. It's 3 guys on paper that hate each other, and there might be some legitimate dislike between them. It's what makes it intriguing. It makes it what you would want to see in a main event. It's compelling. You don't know who's going to win. You don't really know. Personally, for me, it's a really cool thing to see Punk get this redemption, because he kind of got this black cloud in AEW. He was the black sheep when he left WWE the first time. And it seems like it's the complete opposite during this run. Behind the scenes, he's beloved. We saw that during the Stephanie McMahon series on ESPN. There's this moment where Punk says to Hunter in Gorilla, "Thank you for this opportunity to wrestle here again." And Punk says, "I appreciate you." And Hunter says, "I appreciate you. We're lucky to have you." Like, it's a really cool, genuine thing. I do want to point out, 10 years ago today was the infamous heist of the century when Seth did the greatest cash-in of all time, which made it a triple threat between Roman and Brock and now Seth. And Seth got away with it. We're Paul Heyman clients. I personally believe that the favor is likely, in my opinion, that whenever Punk challenges for a world title, Heyman has to be in his corner. And if Punk wins, Heyman has to stay with him through the reign. That's my guess. Now, as far as the rumors of will Heyman turn on both his prodigal children and go with Seth, well, that would be another heist of the century, wouldn't it? And it is the 10-year anniversary for this and a triple threat. So WWE loves doing history, because they did it last year, where Cody won his second Rumble and then he won the title. And the 2 previous people that have won at least 2 Royal Rumbles did not win it the first time either and won it the second time. They love doing history repeating itself. So it's entirely possible. And Seth is the architect. So, and Heyman's the wise man. So anything is possible. And to me, that adds to the layer of how intriguing and how interesting this match is going to be.
And it also the also interesting part of this match is that there isn't a defined heel in the match. Like, all guys are tweeners, but are kind of in the babyface side of how they're presented on the WWE as of now. Obviously, Roman getting past the bloodline. CM Punk is beloved by the fans. Return, and that's one thing I do want to say before we close out, is the fact that CM Punk being out of wrestling was, a big deal, right?
Yes.
How he left the WWE was a big deal. A guy who had such a strong impact from his days of Ring of Honor to what he did in the WWE, and him returning to pro wrestling. And I'm also going to give AEW credit in the aspect of it, because a lot of it was there. From when he returned into Chicago on that episode of Rampage to where we are now, he has been absolutely remarkable in the lines of what he does on television. That goes with storylines, that goes with matches. Like the guy, you expect people to be rusty, maybe losing a step in situations. He shows why he is one of the best of all time, just off of a new life of his career once he's returned.
I do have to say the one thing, because there's always been the blame that AEW let this fall apart. I am now of the opinion, seeing him in WWE, this is a side of him I don't think we ever saw, other than the first dance when he came back in AEW. I've never seen Punk legitimately this happy, and him saying "I'm home" wasn't just a tagline. You could tell he legitimately believes that, and I don't think he would have went to AEW if Vince was out.
No,
if Vince was out sooner, Punk would have went to WWE. I don't think AEW would have happened.
It's literally making amends of a situation that was a big skeleton in his closet for a while, and finally be able to, go through all that time, go through a situation, and them, like I said, making amends, being able to get past that. And he's been great in WWE since he's returned, man. So salute to Punk. I'm super excited for it. I'm a big Punk fan. And that's all the time that we got for today, man. This has been an electric episode. We went overtime, but sometimes when it's the first show of my transfer portal, you got to make it happen. We'll be on same time tomorrow. The Wrestling Republic tournament of this quiz is happening. I believe we got a big time match between Chaos and David. They have been going back and forth online with these videos, which has been very entertaining. So, and remember this, the big part of it, y'all in the UK, you guys are finally fixing your clock. So, yeah, that'll be good. Us in the States, we will be back at 3:00 p.m. Eastern time, 12 Pacific, 2 Central. So we won't be an hour ahead anymore. Y'all can calm down and won't worry about it. Everything's back at normal.
And that's starting tomorrow's episode, right?
Yep, that starts tomorrow. Anthony, Megan, appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next week. In the words of Jay Uso, deuces, ooses, we out here.